everybody, welcome back to Mel's Board Game Room. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a game that I just finished playing. Now, this was a game that my friend Carla lent to me, and I want to say it was like over a year ago. So it's been sitting here waiting for me to be played. And finally I played it, and this is Brooklyn 2002. I was so impressed with this one. I was like, okay, first of all, I'm going to need to get more. And second of all, I'm going to need to show you guys how this game works because it is good. Let me show you what it looks like here. I'll set the game up. So I have the game all set up here. And it all comes in this little file folder, the police report file folder, which I think those are so cool. I love my whodunit mystery story games. And I love when it comes like this, like it's a cold case in a file. I think this is just so amazing. So I was especially impressed with this one. So let me show you what's in here. First of all, there's the board. And it's kind of has a grid with numbers, and you have the crime scene on here. And then you see the person is dead in the bathtub there. But so this is part of the game. Then you have your evidence card, and they all in order. It starts with start, and then you have them all to number 30. That's all in here as well. You have your A to J. They're just called crime file on here. This is like your puzzle solution. You have hints that you can utilize, again, A to J as well. So if you ever get stuck and need a little bit extra help, you can rely on this one here for help as well. And then you have your reputation. And what's interesting with this is every time you take a hint or every time you do a mistake, you would remove one reputation. And this will take kind of a few things away from the final answer. And then you just kind of be aware of that. So it comes with kind of like important information on how to start, tells you how to set everything up like I have here, and then it refers you to go and start reading the story. And this is just the guide here as well that shows how the game will work. Now, spoiler alert, I'm going to walk through the first 1 to 2 puzzle in here just to show you how this all works. So if you really don't want to see anything about this game and what it has, because this is you play through one time, then you know. So I'm going to go through like the A1. So if you don't want to see that, I recommend you stop the video. If what you see here kind of looks intriguing, definitely check out this game. If you're okay, there's going to be a little bit of spoiler alert, but I'm going to stop fairly quickly because if you ever play this game, I want you to have that experience as well. So, you've been warned. All right, so you would first start by reading the story. Now, I'm just going to read like a couple of pages. You would read part 1. Part 1 is a couple of pages long, and that's the end of part 1 here. So I'm just going to read the first page. So I'm not going to read beyond that. It's just going to give you a sense of the story. So it's Brooklyn, New York City, 22nd of November, 2002. There are some days you will never forget. Yours and Linda's anniversary on the 14th of June in 1974, when a southern wind blew a breath of hot air between the skyscrapers, and you made love on the mattress on the floor of your barren apartment while listening to the sound of the city drifting in and through the window. The 9th of April 1980, when a tall maple in Central Park started to turn green, and your little daughter, kicking, screaming, and red in the face, was placed in your arms for the very first time. When the North Tower of the World Trade Center came crashing down on the 11th of September, covering the city in a gray cloud of debris, and you carried a screaming 2-year-old down the dusty streets in search of a water bottle to wash her blood-soaked face. The body of Jane Doe in the bathroom of room 407 at the Night Inn on the rainy evening of the 22nd of November 2002. So this is just the introduction of the story. Basically, you're a police officer in New York City, and it walks you through the scene, the crime scene, and the story of how it evolves. So it's definitely has a very strong story driven aspect to this. And I think this is great. So you would read all of this that kind of describes the crime scene and what's happened and what you've noticed and all of that. So after you've read part 1, you would then take the evidence start. And I'm going to make a little bit of room and move some things out of the way here because you'll see we're going to need a bit of space. So evidence start. The nose of your car is gobbling up wet asphalt. Exhaustion is weighing on you, but the messy crime scene from the phone, bottles, and bag is still playing on your mind. You now know that the woman found in the tub was Maria Helen Whitman, a 27-year-old waitress at the rooftop breakfast who was reported missing 4 days ago. You know you got lucky because you found the name of on the collar of her coat. Though deep down you know that it wasn't just blind luck. The murderer made a mistake, even though they thought they were smarter than the police. And we're there, and where there is one mistake, there will be another. Now you just have to find out what that mistake might be. So on these cards, you'll notice sometimes you'll read up the story and there'll be a letter or a word that is underlined. And this one is phone. So when you come across one like that, you need to look at your crime scene and find which number on the grid is associated with phone. And over here we can see that the phone is actually in grid number 14. So we would then go to the evidence, search for number 14, and pull that out. Now, if we are correct, this line will match up with this one, and you see that it does. So now we put these two together. Perfect. So, and this is a card that we have that will give us the next puzzle, I guess. So keep in mind, every puzzle, the answer is going to be a number of some sort. So one thing you'll notice, and this is where, spoiler alert, I'm showing you the answers of this first one here. So it says meet plus Bob. And it's a rotary phone. And if you notice, old rotary phone, the letters are associated with a number. So if you get the number for each one of these letters, meet plus Bob, it's 6338 plus 262. And if you add those two numbers together, you're going to get 6600. So this is where this is card A, and that's the puzzle we need to solve. So then we're going to go and grab the crime file A and open it and see if any of these has our answer. As I mentioned, it's 6600, so the D one here. So it gives us 15-6-8. And the way that this is going to work, you're going to take the story that we didn't read in full, but you would have, and you're going to go to paragraph 15, right? So paragraph 15 is here. Then you're going to go to the phrase or the line 6. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you're going to look at the 8th word. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that word is hat. All right, so now we put this down, we put our story down, we go back to the map, and now we need to locate the hat. All right, where is this hat? Oh, there it is. And we see that the hat is hanging behind the door on grid number 6. So then you go to the evidence, and you grab number 6, and if it's correct, it's going to connect with this. And it does. So now we get the second part of the story. I'm not going to read the story again. You would look for the woman in the image and pull that up. So I'm just going to pull one more because I want to show you how that's going to work. So the woman is in number 12. So we're going to go and get evidence number 12. And we get this one. If you notice, it does line up with the yellow. So that is the correct card. Now, one thing I want to point out, and that's why I kept going a little bit more, is we have these black and white string that are connected to this. And this means that we need to locate 3 more cards that have to do with this. And in order to be able to solve the puzzle. So if you notice in the image, and I'm just going to show you one of them here. Where am I going to show you which one? I got to find them again here. Okay, so over here on the floor, you'll notice there's a piece of paper that has the same symbol as the tattoo on the woman, and that's on number 17. So number 17 would be one of the 3 cards we would need to pull out in order to make sense of this. I'll go pull it out and just to show you. So number 17, and you notice it's just this card. Now there's 2 more cards, or there's 2 more evidence cards we need to pull in order to be able to solve this puzzle. And we would then kind of figure out what the answer is to be able to go into our story and locate our next word. And this is how Brooklyn 2002 works. And I was so impressed with this whole mechanism. Now, by the end here, like, you have this whole interconnected with like strings between everything, and it's so neat. It was such a fun game to play. At one point, you're going to be getting kind of to go further in the story. You're going to read part 2, and then you're going to have part 3. And then you have like the final answer. Do you know what's happened, or do you know where the murderer is? And then you would go through your reputation that you have left to get a clue and see where and if you're able to solve it. So I'm going to stop here. But that's how the game Brooklyn 2002. So it's part of the crime scene series, this crime scene game series. And I'm so impressed with this. It was such fun playing this, and the story was really rich. I loved it. Now, this series, I was checking, I think there's 14 or 19. Like, there's a lot of them out there. This is the only one I've ever played. This is the only one I've ever tried. As I mentioned, my friend Carla, who I do the podcast with, this is her game, and she lent it to me after she was done. So this is one that as you play, it doesn't get destroyed. You can reset the game and pass it on, or exchange it with somebody else, or sell it for and buy a new one if you want. And I love that. Now, I like the exit game where they do get destroyed as you play, but I really enjoy the fact that I can pass this one on. And it was so good, and it was so satisfying with the way everything connected, and how like it builds this whole tableau as if you have like your evidence board. So good. So if you've already played any of the games in the crime scene game series, let me know what you thought. If you end up playing this one, let me know how you did. I got so involved into it, I used a couple of hints. So, and I'm not sure if I remember to pull the reputation out every time, but I was so involved in the story and liking it so much that I don't even care. So this was Brooklyn 2002. It was amazing. Be sure to follow me if you want. I'm on Facebook at Mel's Board Game Room. My YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. I'm also on Instagram as Mel's_boardgame_room. And the podcast that I do with my friend Carla is called The Board Game Specialist. Bye, everybody.